Taura Glaze, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us about EEI. I know you were a director of development, correct? With EEI. And so we are just excited to hear about your experiences over the last 20 years and the impact that it's had. So of all the EEI sessions that we would facilitate, which was like budgeting, credit and debt, savings and investing, insurance,
how to buy a car, how to buy a house.
Right, yeah, how to buy a car, how to buy a house. Which ones did you enjoy the most and which ones did you enjoy the least facilitating?
Now, it's gonna, funny enough, I enjoyed them all because they all brought their own piece into it. I enjoyed the budgeting piece when we actually taught that to high schoolers. Because in my position, I had the opportunity to do like career days for high schoolers and come up with creative ways on helping them with budgeting. We helped the Girl Scouts. We did a lot of the Mayor's Next Steps initiatives, all of those things. So facilitating that in that space brought such joy. But then for the students, I enjoyed the piece with how to buy a car and how to buy a home because it was so relevant at that moment.
True.
Wanting to get out of school, wanting to buy a car, wanting to buy a home, wanting to save and invest. And while I was facilitating, I was learning at the same time. So I was not a professional in these things, but I became a professional through, facilitation and having to walk out the things that I was learning myself and building convictions and having some tools for my toolbox. When I think of EEI, I do think of the CEO roundtable and just being able to work with those partners, because as a development coordinator, that's what I did. So being able to work with those partners, being able to get those donations, have those tables set up, and also working with the students to sit at those tables, to have such a hand in something that was one of our major fundraising events was marvelous. And just to see the extravagance of it, it was Black excellence for sure. Like you would walk into a room and you're like, whoa, and just not what I was anticipating at all. It always exceeded my imagination. And so for that reason, because it was that event that helped to sponsor so many of the marvelous things that we were able to do at EEI, not the match savings program itself, but the CEO roundtable would have to be one of my favorites. Yeah.
Taura, EEI has had such an impact on, people, yes, with their financial management and their financial literacy, but also in other areas of life. Can you talk to me a little bit about other skills, like just life skills that you learned from EEI?
The way and the art of communication, that is one of the skills that I would say hands down EEI has helped to develop in me. I'm grateful for that.
And you would say, was it from Sam Jackson? Was it just on your own as you figured out your own development, muscles? How did you develop those communication skills?
Because of the opportunities and the responsibilities that Sam Jackson would give. So I would say it was integrated. He gave opportunity to be in a space and to grow. He said, hey, this is what I need you to do, and allowed me to take on that opportunity, allowed me to be creative, allowed me to develop things, allowed me to communicate with the students on how we were going to go about doing fundraising. So because of the opportunities that he's put in place, I was able to grow into those shoes.
What's one lasting impact EEI has had on your life 20 years later? So it could be either what doors did they open, what did you enjoy overall, or what's the lasting impact over 20 years?
I'll talk about the doors.
Okay, so let me tee that one up. So we all know Sam Jackson is extremely networked. And then as people joined the organization, that network just grew and grew. For you, Taura, what are some of the doors you feel EEI has opened for you over the last 20 years that it's been in operation?
EEI has opened up doors into the nonprofit sector. Everybody knows that you have to be networked in order to be in the nonprofit sector. And so what Sam Jackson did for me is when I actually moved to North Carolina and I didn't have a position, I didn't have a job or what have you, Sam Jackson was looking for a way to expand EEI. And he actually allowed me to be the program director here to break ground in Charlotte, North Carolina. That was such a blessing Who does that? You know, who trusts you to go to a whole nother state and says, hey, since you're there, here's an opportunity. Are you interested? And trust you to do that.
Yeah, the autonomy that Sam provided his staff as well as the students, definitely unheard of in terms of how young we were. You know, because we had space to fail upwards. We had space to fail and recover, and not completely, you know, have him be like, this is not how it's supposed to go, fix it. You know, like he knew that we were all growing and evolving together, and that's something that's, you know, really valuable about that experience. Thank you, Taura, so much for talking about your memories, the exciting moments, the areas that you have been able to grow and evolve, you know, based on what you learned while working with EEI. We really appreciate you contributing to the 20th year anniversary, and we'll definitely stay in touch.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for having me.